Hello, good morning, welcome back to the fish locker out on the boat. Chris and I are up early because we're going a long way. I'm going wrecking and then maybe drop onto the reef on the way back. See the clouds in that direction. Hopefully they will hold off for us. Yeah, that's the plan. Let's go. Winner bass for dinner. Thought to myself when it was banging its head, I thought this hasn't dove yet, but it's banged around. Thought to myself, that feels like a bass. Right, on the way to the wreck that we were going to try first, thought to ourselves, we'll stop off on this little channel, and I mean it's tiny. It's broken up into pieces of about maybe 10 and 20 metres. It first drop that we've had, first drift, we're drifting at 1.6 knots at the minute, so it's quite fast. First fish of the day. It was a beautiful bass on a wreck as well. Yeah, it's a rarity for us down here to catch bass on the wrecks. 9 times out of 10 it's always pollock. Yeah, that is a lovely bass. And it did blow on the way up. The swim bladder is all the way out here. I wouldn't be returning this one even if it hadn't, but here we go. We are for anyone curious, 57 centimetres, and that was caught. Flipped this out when it was in the net, but that was caught on one of my prototype lures, a white one. Don't even know where he hooked up. Oh, right in the front. Fantastic start. I'll talk you through my rig now. Yeah, talking you through it from start to finish. This is a 12-pound class Penn Regiment solid carbon, and this is a Fathom. It's a Fathom 15 lever drag. On here I've got 40-pound braid, and then I've got a 50-pound mono leader. At the end of my leader, I'll show you Chris's next time around because he's fishing slightly different. On the end of my leader I've just got a strong swivel which goes to a 3-way, and then I've got a trace of fluoro ending in a soft plastic lure. What we're doing now is we're steaming back up tide of the wreck. You just constantly, if this is your wreck here, you'll drift over it and then steam round, and then drift over it and then steam round, and that's how you do it. When you're going back up tide, you never steam back over the wreck, you always steam round it to drift over it. We were just saying there when I first hooked it, I didn't hook it far off the bottom. Pollock usually do like a crashing dive, and that one was just banging its head, and I said to him, I said, it's just banging its head, this. And both of us kind of thought, oh, it might be, but I don't want to jinx it. Yeah, pollock usually, as soon as they hook up, they'll go for it. Whereas that one was just thrashing around. I was slowly dropping down then. It was messing like that, I didn't realise I was up on the end. I might have missed this one. Because the wreck that we're fishing over is only small and we're drifting at speed, You've got to time it right just to land your lures down there, just as you're hitting onto it.
Little one, but yeah,
There you go, fill it off it.
Yeah, pretty fancy.
Wait, the colours on it, like I'm saying, it's not a wreck pollock, it's not pale, it's come from the reef, that. Round again.
Yeah.
Pollock, you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. The little one, I think send this one back if we can. Not blowing too bad.
Yeah, he's not blistered in his skin.
No, it's fine. So that's a 6-inch sidewinder skerries in white.
I'll show you that in a minute when he brings that back up.
There you go. It's just a descender. Just put that spike through a bit of skin, send him most of the way down, and he'll just equalise and should be alright. Hit him below, so shoot rig. So I'm using a Portland rig, basically just a helicopter rig. It's just 2 swivels. I've got a quick link on the bottom, 2 beads, just runs freely, and then I use about, it's probably about 12 foot of 40-pound fluoro. You can go longer, you can go shorter, just depends on how the fish are feeding really.
Right, see how this drift goes. When it started running, I thought we were going to lose it in the wreck. If you're looking at the waves behind the boat, it shows 2 different swell directions. Today is made especially uncomfortable because of the confused swell. We have a south-southeast and a northeast swell combining. One coming from this direction and the other coming from this direction. This is what happens when one weather front follows another, which doesn't make it very easy when you're both hooked into fish at the same time. Playing them over these swells is horrible. It's not a bit of fish. That was slightly better. Yeah, we've changed wrecks.
Oh, get that net, get that net.
Changed wrecks to a different wreck nearby just because the pollock that we were catching on that last one were quite small. And this is literally the first drift that we've just had on it. And I've had, I don't know, a fair sized pollock. You get some lovely fillets off that. There's the lure in its mouth, it properly swallowed it. And Chris has had, there you go, what's straight out. Right.
You win.
I don't know, I'd say a bass of that size beats a bigger pollock, to be honest. They are stunning. Yeah. Pollock, there's no spikes on them at all. But no spikes anywhere, so it can't really do you any damage apart from the gill rakers inside of its mouth. I'll put this one in this barrel of water here.
Whereas these, spike there, spike there, spike there.
Yeah, bass are just meant to cause you harm. Every single one of these is a hard spike. It's got 2 spikes, one at the back of there and one at the back of there. It's got a really nasty one at the back of the anal fin down here. When it thrashes, it always digs you with. Yeah, these ones are meant to hurt you. That's a stunning fish.
Lovely.
Yeah, surprising to get 2 off the wrecks. It might even be all them tuna that we saw earlier on. Everything's hiding it wreck.
Yeah, probably.
There is quite a lot of bait fish around, and we have seen some tuna on the way out here. But yeah.
I've only ever caught one of the bass, reckon. One with you.
Yeah.
So to have 2 in a day is pretty unheard of around here.
You never know, we might see some more of them, which would be fantastic. Yeah, the bass and the pollock that you're seeing, they were putting them in a live bait tank and giving them a chance to push a bit of water over their gills. The reason why we do that is, if you imagine it's fought all the way to the boat, so it's got lactic acid in its muscles, dispatching it at this point in time, unless you can pump all the blood out of it, there's a chance of it leaving some behind. So I will put it in a live bait tank and let it revive, let it flush itself, and then dispatch and bleed it. Bleed all the blood out of it. It gives you a much better end product meat than if you don't. I'm not going to show you dispatching it on the videos because I know some people don't like seeing it. But if you want to know how we do it, just Google Ikejimmy or Ikejimmy. Ikejimmy?
Ikejimmy. Yeah. It makes a big difference.
Your accent or my accent, yeah. Ikejimmy. Yeah, the wrecks that we're fishing in now, they are in the best part of 70 metres of water. And you'll notice that we're going up tide of the wreck, dropping to the bottom, and I've been giving it about 15 to 20 winds and then dropping back down again. You're going slow, you're going fast?
Pretty slow.
The tides are quite fast today, so you don't need to go that quick. When the tides are smaller, a faster retrieve can sometimes spur them on because you need to make your lure move. But yeah, you can see a definite pattern, can't you, that they're taking white ones today. I thought to myself on the way out when we'd seen quite a few pilchards, I thought the white ones might pick them out. Let's go around and have another drift of that because that was bloody brilliant. We'll have another go at that wreck. You might have noticed the conditions that we're in. We've had quite a lot of easterlies these last few days, so there is a bit of easterly swell still going. We're headed out just as the tide was turning, so we should hopefully have wind and tide together, so this will calm off. Fingers crossed. That's the plan. Yeah, part and parcel of fishing on wrecks is you're going to lose a bit of gear. By having the rig designed the way that I have done. My mainline braid is 40 odd pound. Leader is 50 because this needs the added abrasion resistance. If it touches the wreck, it doesn't snap off immediately. The weakest part of this is my hook length trace. So there, on that drift, my hook got stuck into the wreck. The only thing that snapped off though was the hook length. So all I did was tied a new one on, tied a new lure on, and I'm back fishing within a couple of minutes. Because we are now drifting at crazy speeds, like 2.5, 2.6 knots that last drift, I'm going to stay on the controls and I'm going to keep bumping the engine back to give Chris a little bit more time on the wreck. If that works, then we'll just alternate. If it doesn't, then we'll go and find a wreck. It's in a little bit less tide. After a couple of really good drifts, it has slowed down. Well, the fishing slowed down, the drift's picked up. I'm going to go and try somewhere else now. You're making your hook length a little bit longer, aren't you? Yeah. I'm going to try making mine a little bit shorter. Just it's good fishing with somebody else because you can try a couple of different things at once. Yeah, we're just going to start experimenting with size of lures, length of traces, how fast you wind, how slow you wind. Experiment like that. Let's see if we can't figure out what the fish want. Just drift to the bay like this. We've come to a wreck that I haven't fished in probably 10 months, and it's not on the charts. I got it from an old commercial fisherman. Give this a quick try. Just skim the top part of it, man.
Yeah, 12 turns again.
Right there. Oh yes, it went just that. Difficulty when you're trying to bring a fish in this type of swell. Oh, good colour. Nice fish. Very nice fish. Yeah, the difficulty when you're playing up a fish in this swell is because one minute you're down in a trough and the next minute you're 5 foot, 6 foot higher. So you're pulling, every time you go up a wave, you're putting extra pressure on the fish because the boat's rising, so it's pulling the fish up, and every time you go down a trough it creates slack, so you have to kind of cushion it. Anyway, it's
Luckily with this, he was actually next.
oh,
He wasn't coming off.
You can see the hook just at the corner there.
Yeah, no, nice.
He wasn't coming off. That's a spinner fish, mate. Well done.
Whether it made a difference, I made my trace quite a lot longer. It's probably 15, maybe a lead more than that, 15 foot. I hooked one, lost one, and then got that.
Yeah, I had one knock, but never did knock Robbie's. If we go around on that drift again, Chris has another fish and I don't, I'll lengthen my trace. See what I mean about adapting what you're doing to figure out what's working best on the day. Round again. Yeah, it's still. I put a drogue out there and we're still drifting at 2 knots, sideways on. Just a lot of tide. I'll let this clip play out in real time. First, me checking the rig, dropping it down to the seabed, winding up and hooking a fish, and then the fish reaching the boat. There's the rig reaching the seabed and me starting to wind it back, working the lure. There's the fish strike. You notice I didn't strike into it to set the hook. I let the fish turn and run and hook itself, and then I start playing it up towards the boat. "80 metres of water is a long way to bring a fish up, especially when you're in 2 knots of tide and swell. And there's Chris into a good fish as well. This shows that the fish on this wreck aren't just concentrated in one area. They are spread out down the wreck. Now it's just up to us not to lose them. You notice that neither of us struck into these fish. These pollock, when they hit the lure, turn and dive back to the wreck and hook themselves. Also, we are not pumping these fish up to the boat. It's a steady retrieve. Especially in these conditions, that gives you the best chance of landing them. Gain line when you can, and let the fish take line when it's diving.
Still drifting at 2 knots with a drag out. Man's coming in a long way back. It's a warrior. Pretty deep into it. That's why I got the net out ready.
There's a couple of things to talk about there. First one being that I had the net ready at the back just because if it's the lightest of hook holds, it can pop it at the side of the boat just like it did. But also because of that, because of the possibility of it being a light hook hold, both Chris and I, you just see us very gently. You don't see us lifting and winding and lifting and winding, because the only thing that you can't affect, you can't change, you can't do anything about is where the hook takes the fish in the mouth. If it's all the way down its gullet, you can wind it up however you want and it's going to come up and it's going to still be attached. But if it's just slightly hooked and you start pulling and writhing and bouncing, the hook will drop out. This fish spat it at the side of the boat. I already had the net ready just in case. So I had it. But yeah, what were we talking about and feeding on earlier? Chris, what were we talking about and feeding? It was just spat out. Oh, stunner of a fish. Yeah. This one has been in the waters. He's had Summer get hold of him and bite him and scratch him about. That's a bite mark. Yeah. Oh, well done.
Really good. That's a really good one.
That's a stack of a fish, that one, mate. Well done. Yeah, my fish is... My fish is exactly 70 centimetres. Chris's is bigger than the measure, so Chris's I'd put his to be best part of 80, if not more. Yeah, stunning eating size pollock. I was just gonna say, get away with holding mine closer than yours. Yeah. Well done. Lovely. Cheers. We're running drifts. The first drift was just off the bottom of the wreck. The second drift was just at the top. That one was straight down the middle. Both of us, as soon as we got onto the wreck, straight into prime fish like that. But still drifting at 2.4 knots. Yeah, it's crazy. Where's my phone? Get these fish dispatched and bled. Just drop the drogue out over the side and we'll run a drift down over the wreck now. Yeah, these fish really are tight to this wreck. I think it's, I'm just talking about it on the way up, I think it's probably because of the strength of tide that we've got at the moment. They're all hunkering down, hiding out the current. Squid, I found they do really well inshore sometimes. I've never really had a good fishing on the rest. Just a chunk. All across the shoulders. There it's like I'd said earlier about where ideally you want to hook a fish. You want it to properly swallow it. This one has walloped it. That lure is all the way, if you don't know well you can see it, that lure is all the way right at the back of that fish's throat there. That's a nice one, that one. It's a good solid fish. I would give it be close to doubles if it isn't one. It's not as big as Chris's, but nice one. Seagulls have spotted us, haven't they?
They go off there, I think.
Yeah. Another prime pollock. I'm going to go around for one more drift.
You can do.
Yeah. Get this guy unhooked, bled and dispatched, and we'll go around for another one. Go for it, mate. Man, remember what I was saying last time about having to take it very easy, because every time the fish dives, every time the fish tries to pull to get away, the hook hold in its mouth gets a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. That's what I'm talking about. There, like that. See that hole there that I can fit my entire finger through? Every time it's dove, it's pulled it a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. If I'd have let any slack, that hook would just pop straight out. Chris is still playing one. We did end up where actually my line got caught around Chris's. So all I did was unclip man. That is a jumbo. Well done. Another one that's been in the wars. I wonder if there's a bit of old net down there and that's what we're scrapping with. It almost looks like it. Look down on top of it. Does that look like a bite? Someone's been grabbing on it. Yeah.
Another double.
Yeah, just to kind of show you comparison there is Chris's is, bearing in mind his is only maybe, well we'll measure up, there's only maybe about 5 or 6 centimetres in it, but there'll probably be about 4 or 5 pound in it, maybe a bit less. So we'll weigh them both and we'll tell you, dispatch them and blade them, then we'll weigh them. That fish of Chris's there is over 80 centimetres, call it 81, 82. What was it, 11
pound.
11 pound. And this one of mine's 70. It's best part of 7. So with only like 10 centimetres difference in between them, what's that, 3 or 4 pound? 7 to 11, yeah. These are all prime eating fish. We don't need to take any more than what we've got to feed us for the month. So what we're going to do now is we're going to gut all of these out here, discard all the goods, maybe even scale the bass. We'll stop off somewhere on the way home because we've done 7 wrecks. We'll stop off on the way home and try and get a squid, and then we'll fillet all of these somewhere in a bit of shelter where you're not likely to cut your finger off. Fantastic. Well done. Go on then. There's some fantastic fish there. We've had a cracking day spot. We don't do this very often, we don't take this much fish every time we go out, but I'm going up to see my grandmother for Christmas and you're going up to go and see family as well, so
that's what we're doing.
not only will this feed us for weeks, but we're going to take some share out with family. I hope you enjoyed joining us, I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the Fish Locker YouTube channel, where we have hundreds of videos from our adventures just like this one. We upload new videos every Sunday evening, so don't forget to click subscribe and we'll see you on the next one. Let's go!